In this video, I'm going to work on my goals for Q2 and write out my little sticky notes for my Kanban board and show you the whole process. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Kristen. I post functional planning videos on my channel 3 times a week, usually using my Erin Condren Monthly planner. I'm going to be using the monthly planner in this video a little bit, but I'm also going to be writing out all of these little tiny post-it notes that I use on my Kanban system. And after we write them out, I will go and show you that. It's on a door in my office, and so I can't bring it here to show you, but we'll go put the sticky notes on the door and I'll show you how it looks after we're done. So first, let's kind of talk about what's going on. So if you haven't watched my quarterly review video, I'll link it here. You can go watch that just to kind of get like a preview of what we're gonna do here. And it explains like how I've changed some of my goals and whatnot. So I have here my annual goals that I set up at the end of 2022. This was something I spent a lot of time thinking about. And so I brought this back out just to review it. One of the things that I had trouble with in the past with goal setting was just generally being overwhelmed with all of the stuff you have to do for like any given goal setting system that you might purchase. So I just kind of brainstormed. I took a couple of months, maybe more like 6 weeks. I can't really remember, but I brainstormed a lot and just kind of came up with my own goal categories and what types of goals that I thought I would want to work on in 2023. I just wrote them down in a .grid notebook, nothing special. And this is kind of where we're at. So I've spent all of Q1 working on those goals, and that review video will talk about like what went well and what didn't. And in this video, I want to talk about the new goals or the goals that I'm picking from my annual goals to go into Q2. So I have here, this was my annual goals, but then I took some time to brainstorm some goals for Q2 just in this little, this is an A6 Sequins notebook that I got on Amazon. I really like it. I've been using it a lot, and it's been handy anyway, but that's not what this video is about. So I just kind of took 2 pages and wrote out here just some of the goals in the categories that I'm going to focus on in this video, which are health, fun and family, home, creativity, and financial goals. So my biggest goal that I am like really pumped about working on right now is anything health related. And at the end of Q2 in March, I had a really great reset, I guess, with my nutrition, and it's really kind of like helped me out wanting to keep improving my health in the nutrition area, and that like spills out into all the other areas. Like it's like kind of like the number one thing, if I could only pick one thing to improve, which would be like my nutrition, it actually helps literally everything else on my list. It just does, like whether it improves my mental health or my physical health or just whatever, my nutrition, improving that is like key, I think, to just an overall sense of, you know, motivation and happiness, I think, and energy levels and stuff like that. So that is my number one goal for Q2. Like I want to keep going with that. Also in Q1, I had huge success with all of those health goals that I set, as far as just making the appointments I needed to make to get back into the swing of going to regular like checkups and stuff like that. So for health, actually, let's talk about this while I write down the sticky notes, just to save some time. So these are my the goals with the color that I'm using. So like I have this color for my fun and family. I have yellow for my health, and I'm actually running out of this like bright yellow, so I'm going to use the lighter yellow when that runs out. My home stuff is this like orchid color, creativity is this like seafoam color, and then financial is the pink. So let's do the health goals first. So for my health goals, and what I want to write on these sticky notes are tasks that support that goal. This is where you have to decide how many sticky notes you want to deal with, right? So like if you want to really dial down into your like each individual little task that you need to do, like if you need those baby steps, then you would make a sticky note for every single thing. So for my nutrition, in order to keep up with my nutrition goals, I need to plan out my menus in advance. I need to order groceries for delivery, and I need to prep my food ahead of time. And I would like to explore keeping an informal like food log. We'll talk about that in a second when I start writing that down. But some of these things could be more like habits. So if you are a habit tracker and you see a lot of success and you get a lot of energy from tracking your habits, like if that is a positive thing for you, these types of things that are recurring, I mean, you always have to eat, so you're always having to make sure you're planning your meals and prepping your food and stuff. That might be something that works well on a habit tracker. I don't really like habit trackers. I don't have anything against them. I just don't ever end up using them. I never look back at them. It's just one of those things that just has never really worked for me. And I still try it every now and then, but it always proves to just be like not for me. So I'm actually going to write some of these things on my sticky note. And Q2 has 3 months in it, but then each of those months has like 4 or maybe 5 weeks in it. And so I would have to do like 20 sticky notes for food prepping, or 20 sticky notes for ordering groceries. And so I don't really want to do that. So that's something that I am going to put in my phone on my Google Tasks, because that's a recurring thing. And that is still gonna pop up each week to remind me, like on the day that I normally need to get my grocery order in, that will pop up and stuff like that. So that's kind of tricky as far as like my number one health goal isn't really going to be represented on my Kanban board. So I'm trying to figure out, what should I write? I was thinking I could, because I do my meal planning in my Google Calendar and it's like already done for like 6 weeks at a time, and then it rotates back to, so I have 6 weeks worth of meals already planned, and it's set to repeat every 6 weeks. So I never have to actually sit down and figure out what we're going to eat. I just have to review what the menu says we're having and then make sure that still works with our schedule and order the ingredients. So I'm thinking for my sticky note, I can just say like April, May, and June review menu. And then that will kind of spur me into making sure it's in my planner to do those things. I'm thinking that's how it's going to work. So I'm going to make 3 sticky notes here, and I'm going to say April menu. Okay. This is not working out for me. This marker isn't going to work because this is not, it's not drying on the sticky note. Isn't this the marker I normally use? I don't know. Anyway, this one's all messy now, but I'm not gonna waste it. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna put them on my cover here, and hopefully I have enough room, and then that way, because my Kanban is in my office, I can just carry this over and put everything there. What about one of these microns? I wish it was bolder, but that's okay. So May, can you still see this if I move it up? Okay. May menu. And June menu. And so I think what I might need to do as far as the menu goes, in my planner, let's go to April. So how can I do this? I don't have it. Let's look at an example of how I plan my weeks here. So here we go. So this is an example of how I plan my week. I just do it because I use a monthly planner. I take the blank notes page and I just draw out however my week looks, whatever layout I feel like I need for that. And I make a to-do list. And then this time I went and wrote down my meal prep list here on my weekly thing, but really, and actually I forgot to grab this, but hold on just a second. Okay, so this is my meal prep list that I actually wrote it here while I was thinking about it, but then I transferred it to this because this was easy. What I ended up doing was just putting this on the refrigerator with a magnet, and then I just crossed things off as I was making them. So this is a notepad that I made myself using old Daily Duo sheets that I cut up. And I have a tutorial on this, I'll link it above, but it's just a notepad. You don't need anything special, and you can use any notepad you have. But I took all of the things that I need to prep and I put them on this list, and then in the little notes section, I just had a spot for notes on like the chicken that I wanted to like break that up into two so that I can marinate it in 2 different ways, stuff like that. So what I need to do is make one of these lists every week. That might be a good way to use one of these dashboards. Right now I just have a bunch of sticky notes on it, but this is like, you can write your stuff on one of these in Sharpie, and then that way it doesn't wipe off so that you can reuse it week to week. You could also just print something out and laminate it. Anyway, so back to how I'm gonna use my planner. I think one of my tasks on my weekly list should always be to make my meal prep list. And so whenever I look at my Kanban and I'm picking the tasks I'm going to be working on, like the April menu will be in the working section of my Kanban, and then I can, when I look at that, I can remember, okay, I need to make sure I'm making my list. I don't know, that's a hard one because I definitely don't want 20 sticky notes on my Kanban board to overwhelm me. We'll see if this works. I'll keep you updated. So another health goal is my son is starting his journey of having braces. So he has an appointment in to visit the orthodontist for a consultation, and then we're gonna get on the schedule and just start that process of braces and whatever we need to do, whatever the orthodontist suggests. So I'm gonna make the first one, and that is schedule ortho. So we do have the consultation in and ready. We just haven't, time hasn't passed yet to get to that appointment. But once we get to that appointment and get the treatment plan, then I will go schedule that all out. And then I will make new sticky notes depending on, I don't know. I never wore braces, so I don't know how that works and how often we have to go and stuff. So we'll figure that out after we have that consultation. I do need to research a new doctor for both me and for my son. My son has a doctor, but I'm not happy with them, so I would like to find him a new doctor. We've moved around a lot since 2017, so we've lived in 3 different states, so we don't really have a consistent doctor. And I just want to find something close to home. And then I would like to add some movement in. I don't know what is realistic here, but I do walk regularly whenever my son goes to his tennis practice, but he does tennis practice during the school year. During the summer, there isn't the same routine with that, and so there's not that time that's already kind of on my schedule for that. And so school is ending at the end of May, so in June, which is part of quarter 2, I'm gonna have like a whole month where I'm not getting in regular movement. So I want to make sure for June, I maybe have started a yoga program. I do yoga every now and then. I really enjoy yoga. It's more of just I never feel like doing anything. Like I don't want to say lazy. It's like a lack of energy, I think, and just not making doing the yoga a priority. And so I want to maybe in May start a yoga program, like slowly. Let's put May on here. And then that way, by the time June rolls around and I'm not doing like my 5 days a week, an hour long, 30 minutes to an hour long walk 5 days a week, then it's more likely that I will, stick to a yoga practice. So then let's say consistent yoga, June. And this isn't a task, so this is tricky too, because it's not, what I want on my sticky notes are tasks. But because we're not at that point yet, I don't know what that's gonna be like. Like in May when I start the yoga practice, I'm gonna probably just do maybe a Yoga with Adriene course or something on YouTube. But I don't know, is it gonna be a daily practice? In May it won't be, but maybe by June it will, I don't know. So we're gonna re-examine that whenever we pick goals and review in my monthly updates with these kinds of things. And I think that's it. I only have one yellow sticky note and I kinda wanna use it because I don't wanna just have one sticky note left. I'll just hold it to the side for a minute. So here, I'll just stick it to this one and then we'll call it a day and stop making things so difficult for myself. Okay, done with that one. All right, so fun and family. I would like to, we are taking a trip in April, me and my husband, and so we've already booked the hotel and we are driving, so we don't need to book any airfare. And so I'm gonna need to plan some stuff. I don't like to plan vacations like to the hour. I used to do that and it never ends up being like a nice vacation. But I need to plan out some restaurants for the area because I do have a little bit of a special diet, and so the hotel we booked, actually, we booked one that has a kitchen, so I don't have to eat every meal at a restaurant, and that is a good thing, and we did that on purpose so that I can keep going with my nutrition goals. But we are gonna wanna have like a date night, and I'm sure we will go out for lunch one day while we're out and about. So I would like to just kind of get an idea of which restaurants are going to work for my nutrition goals. I'll just say plan food. And I'm just gonna put Austin so I know I'm talking about that trip. And then I'm gonna need to pack for that trip, and I know that sounds silly to have pack as a task for your goal, but it does help me whenever I look at my Kanban and see that that is something I need to do that week. And so that's why I'm writing it. And this was something I learned, I think I wrote it at the end of February, recovery time for vacation. So we are going on this trip and I am gonna need some recovery time. And so I need to have some grace for myself and make sure I'm not over scheduling myself the following week after we get back. So I'm putting this on there as a reminder for my plans for that week. Okay, and then planning a summer trip with my mom, for me and my mom and my son, and maybe my husband, but he might be busy at work. So that is something, that's another one that, since I don't know where we're going quite yet, we will have 2 months before the end of, the first 2 months in Q2, that trip's not gonna happen anyway. And so I will have those 2 months to plan it out and talk with my mom and my son and figure out where we wanna go and what we wanna do and all of that. So I'm just gonna make the one for now that says plan summer trip. And then when I work on that goal, like when I sit down to plan it, as we figure out what we're doing, I can then make more stickies that have to do with, booking hotels and buying tickets and whatever it is we end up doing. So tennis with my son. So like I said, his tennis practice routine changes in the summer, but we do need to stick with tennis. He does need to keep up his practice during the summer. And I would like to get back on the court as well. So I'm thinking some time I can spend with my son and also get that bonus of having some more movement for my health. Then I'm going to say 2 Saturdays a month. Not a month. Yeah, 2 Saturdays a month. I'm just gonna say twice a month. Tennis with my son, and that will be mostly for like April and May while he's still playing tennis during the week. And then when June comes around and we have like the whole month off of school, he has all of June and July off, then we'll have to come up with a more regular tennis practice kind of schedule for that. And the book club. So I have started a book club for you and me and our friends in this community. And the book we're reading in April is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And I will link in the description the form to sign up for that. So if you've already read the book, cool, you can still join. If you haven't read it, grab it, read it, and we're going to talk about it in the beginning of May. And there'll be details in the description for you. And then we'll need to pick the May book. So I'm just going to say April book club. I need to do discussion questions for that, and I need to do this marker isn't working for me. It's very dry. I like a juicy pen, and this one is not. It's not it. April book club meeting. Little book chat. So this book club is not very formal. I feel like, we'll just get together on Google Meet. We'll just talk about what we read, what we liked, what we didn't, if anyone had any, questions or just anything they wanted to discuss about it. And really, I just wanted to have like an informal place for those of us that like to read to talk about a book in an easier way than, comments on social media. I just thought it would be fun to do it in real time. So I've never done it before. I mean, I've been in book club before, but I've never like led a book club before. I've also never done a Google Meet before. So anyway, we'll talk about that closer to the meeting, but bear with me on this. May book club book. I need to pick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick the book for May, since we will need to know what that is before the May meeting, so that people can read it during May. And then during the May meeting, we'll pick the book for June, and everybody will have a say in that. But I'm just going to pick another book for May, and then I also need the discussion. All right, that's enough with this. We're going to try the marker again. I can't with this Micron. It's like writing with a dried out marker, or like a dried out pen. I don't know. It doesn't like these Post-its. May book club meeting, and then we'll do. For June, it's just going to be the discussion. When I'm writing discussion, I just mean like I want to have some like topics of discussion ahead of time, so that it's not just crickets in the book club. Just some ways to start the conversation. And then June book club meeting. I really think this is going to be fun, and if it's not, we don't have to keep doing it, or we'll just make it fun. Maybe it'll just turn into us just talking about planners. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I'm not that serious about everything. So, all right, and then Formula One. I'm not going to make task Post-its for that, but that's just, I want to continue. Formula One started in March. My husband and I love it. My son, I wish he loved it, but he doesn't. He never watches with us. I just want to, it's like important. It's something that my husband and I do together. We talk about it all the time. We're always sharing, when we see stuff about it on the internet, we send each other things or send each other all the memes. I don't know. It's just something that we have in common that we love to do together. I just want to keep up with that. I don't see needing to have I don't need a task reminder for that. I have it in my planner in multiple spots. So I have my reminders when there's a race. I also have like my race schedule here, and it's in my Google Calendar. We just basically, when he's home on a race weekend, we spend time together watching all of the events. When he's not home on a race weekend, we try to watch it together over the phone. It's just something we do. And then Minecraft gaming nights, I do that at least once a month. I play Minecraft more than once a month. I'll get on there. Like actually right before I filmed this, I sat down to film, and then someone started doing their yard, because that's of course how it always works for me. And I'm writing April on here. I'm going to make one for each month. So I sat down to film this, and someone started doing their yard. So I just went and fired up Minecraft and played for like 30 minutes while that was happening. So there were plenty of other things I could have done in that time, but I just wanted to play Minecraft, so I did. But really the gaming night is where I kind of look forward to, it's like a Friday night, and it's usually on a weekend when my husband is not in town, and I just like settle in on my computer and just play for hours. So like I try to get everything done that I need to get done, and that kind of thing. It's just like something fun I look forward to, and I want to keep that going. Okay, I'm gonna need to speed this up a little bit if this video is not gonna be like 2 hours long. So I'm done with this color, home. Home is gonna be very minimal here, because if you watched my review video, you will know that I kind of don't really care about the goals that I set for my home. I wanted to do a lot of like updating and stuff, and it took all of Q1 for me to realize that I'm not really that interested in those things. So what I want to do as my goals for my home is staying consistent with my cleaning, and that is all of the day-to-day cleaning type things that you do on a recurring basis. That is all in my Google Tasks. And then I do have like a spring cleaning schedule here in my planner that I've started working on. And then I think I even have a cleaning checklist back here somewhere in my notes section. My notes section is a mess right now. So I have this like house cleaning suggestion that came from the Passionate Penny Pincher planner. I have the digital version. And so I printed this out, and it's like each week there's like one task that you could work on, and I've completely ignored this. But I think I need to check on these and do some of these. I don't think I'm gonna go back and try to like catch up on any of the Q1 tasks, but maybe for Q2 I can check this and see if there's anything I feel like doing or that applies to us. April home tasks. And so I'm not going to write out each individual thing on a sticky note. You could do that if that's something that's important to you to make sure you get everything done. You totally could do that. What this is going to do is just remind me to look at this list and see what can I do in April. Let me pick a couple and put them in my planner, like on my, my monthly task list, and then that way it'll get, worked in throughout the month. So I think that's kind of going to be my approach to that. And I actually have that I have a similar thing in my, I'll show you, it's like a little tracker. Let me finish writing this before I distract myself. So at the front of my planner, I have this thing, and I have a thing here that says home tasks. And that is all the stuff that's already in my Google Calendar. When I'm referring to it here, that's what I mean. This one is for this list back here that I was just looking at. Where are we? I don't think I need to, yeah, so that's what I'm referring to here. And I just need to remember to check that list and see if there's anything I want to add to my my monthly list. And so I'm not making a sticky for my regular recurring things, like I said, because that's in my Google Tasks and I don't need it here. I want to improve our backyard and make it just easier to maintain. I've noticed I always have an issue with keeping up with my backyard. There's always a ton of weeds, and I think we need to come up with some way to prevent the weeds in the first place instead of having to go and pull them out. We don't have when we bought our house, the way they had the landscaping it's not our favorite, and it's because it's hard to maintain. And I want to like change things out for things that are just easier to maintain. And I don't know what that is yet, but I need to research that. So research, you hear that someone is doing their yard again? I don't know. This is stupid, and it needs to be like a drinking game. Like every time someone does their yard in one of my videos, you take a shot. Wow, I don't get it. Okay, research, I guess plants. Research plants for backyard. I want something that I don't have to do so much work to keep up. Like, I don't know if that's even a thing, but I'm not that great with landscaping. And then the vegetable garden. So I'm going to put start veggie garden. And then once everything is growing and eventually harvesting, those kinds of tasks will just go in my planner. I mean, I may make little reminder things for not recurring things, for like inconsistent things, but we'll just begin with start veggie garden. All right, now creativity. Creativity, I want to work on my strawberry quilt, and I kind of already broke those steps down, so let's just copy that. For March, I wanted to work on it, and I broke the steps down here, and then I only ended up checking on the measurements, so I need to piece the top, and then I need to piece the border. So I didn't end up buying the fabric that I needed for it because all the measurements got wonky. I want to piece the top without the borders on it and then remeasure it and then make sure I'm buying the right amount of fabric. So I'm just gonna say quilt borders. And then I need to baste and quilt it. And then my very favorite part of quilting is binding. I love binding. I don't know what it is. Like I hand sew the binding. Well, I machine sew, you know, the binding on, and then I pull it around like the quilt sandwich and then hand stitch it to the front. I love doing that. It's so like peaceful and relaxing. Okay. So that's it for the quilt stuff, and I do want to finish that, and so I do want to have, I am having a hard time like making time for that, and so I do want to have this broken out into steps so that I can like break it, and yeah. And then I do have another thing here for knitting, and this is something that I don't know that I need task reminders for. But I want to knit a sweater start like in the fall so that I can enjoy wearing the sweater all through like fall when it gets cool through winter. But I need to figure out, you know, what pattern I should use and how to measure for it, and which, you know, the wool is going to be very expensive, I'm sure. And so maybe that's something I want to collect slowly and kind of break up that expense over the, you know, few months. So I'm going to say select knitting pattern. I forgot the G. And then just sweater. And then once I know what pattern I'm using and how much yarn I need and what type of yarn and all that kind of stuff, then I can make more of these that are specific to that. Okay, and then the last one is just financial. I'm going to just keep making my savings deposits. So I'm going to make one for each month. I'm going to say April savings, May. I think I mentioned this in my quarterly review video about that I've abandoned the goal of getting hired full-time to be a teacher for the 2023-24 school year. Just a family decision that it's just better for me to find a job from home. And so I've decided to explore, you know, putting some more effort into my channel and seeing if that will work, if going full-time with like content creation is going to be right for me. So I just kind of want to see how that will work while maintaining, you know, what you like about my channel without making it like salesy and annoying, because I hate that too, and I don't want it to turn into that. But are there ways that I can make money with my channel, like a significant portion that I can contribute to my family's budget? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I am currently monetized. I am not making a living off of it. It does help basically pay for the supplies and such, and the software I use to make my videos and stuff like that. So I would like to explore ways that I can add more income to this hobby to make it help my family, really help my savings goals, is what I'm trying to, offset some of the increasing prices with like the way the economy is going, and then also just like help me maintain or maybe improve my savings deposits. So I think I'm gonna say explore channel monetization. And I have some ideas. I've done a little bit of brainstorming on that. And we can talk about that in another video. So I have all my little Kanban things here, but first, before we go over and put them on the board, I want to add my goals to my goal spread here. So what I did for Q1 was I put like my 3 main goals for each month on in the box, and I had just little check marks whether or not I did them. And so I am going to use these markers from Erin Condren. These are both from the new focused, is it called Sunset? The new focused markers. And then this is just like Emerald from the regular dual tip markers. And it was the closest match for June that I could find in my stash for some reason. So this purple one, which is called Perry, I believe. The main goal for Q2 is my health, and so I'm actually going to put the same one on all of these. I'm going to write, first let's do, I don't have my little, my stencil in my basket here where I put the check boxes, so I'm just going to leave it blank and I'll add them later. I'm going to put maintain, stay consistent nutrition. That's what I'll write. Consistent nutrition. And I need to switch colors for May. And I'm writing the same goal, and it's just important. And so I am going, it might seem boring or like cheating or something, I don't know, but it's my goal. And so I can have the same goal for 3 months if I want. Nutrition. And the green one, this one is way juicier than those ones. Consistent nutrition. Like, I'm actually concerned that this is bleeding through. It's not. Okay. All right. So we've got consistent nutrition written for all 3. And then when you're watching this, if you're watching it the day it uploads, this is not live yet, but you get a little sneak peek of my monthly review for March. And I picked my goals for April already. And my other goal for April is just our Austin trip. Just making sure we have a good time on that. It's been a long time since my husband and I have gone on like a vacation that wasn't like a group vacation with a bunch of other people, or just like without our son. And I can't even remember the last time. So Austin trip is a good one. And then I'm thinking the backyard should be on here, because if I don't do it now, it's just gonna get hotter and hotter, and I'm gonna not ever wanna do it. So let's work on the backyard. as another big goal. And at the very least, to be able to check this off, at the very least, I just want to clean it up. Even if I don't replant or like pick new plants yet, it's just get it to where I wouldn't like be embarrassed of having people back there. Right now, it's pretty bad. Okay, so in May, book club is important to me. It's something that I want to do for you. It's something that I think is going to be super fun. And I just want to, make sure I don't cancel it for some reason. I don't plan on doing that, but it's just, let's have a successful book club. I peeked at the sign-up sheet recently, and we've got a lot of names on there. So if everybody that signed up can actually make it, whenever I will send out the link closer to the date of how to join or how to be part of the meeting. That's going to be fun. There's so many people on the list, way more than I thought would sign up. So thank you for signing up. And if you're interested, like I said, there's a link in the description. So let's have a successful first book club meeting. And then what else in May? So May is the last month of school. And we talked about planning that trip for the summer. So maybe I can just say like summer trip, either planning it or finalizing the travel plans. So like if we're not going to go till July, we should probably finalize those travel plans in June. But if we decide to go somewhere in June, we will need to have finalized it in May. So, all right, and then I don't need these open anymore. I do want to make sure my son and I play tennis, so okay, and then what else can we do in June? So in June, with my son being home from school, I am going to have to be a little more mindful of, when I can get my content done. And so let's say consistent content. Like I don't want to take like a summer break with my content. I want to keep that momentum going. I feel like I've built up a pretty good like filming schedule and editing schedule. My flow is like coming together and I want to keep up with that. I don't want to let like sometimes like when we have spring break and everybody's home all day long together, it's hard to keep my flow going. So for like summer, that's 2 whole months of no structure. So that's important. That's something that I will put in here as a goal. So I'm going to draw in these boxes when I have my stencil because I want them to look nice and even. So, but there are my goals, and let's go into my office and put these up in the to-do section on my Q2 Kanban, and I'll meet you over there in just a second. All right, so we've got all of the little task Post-its, and then this is what my Kanban looks like with nothing on it. I cleared off all the Q1 stuff, and I'm going to put all of these up here in the to-do section, and then I'm going to go through and pick the ones that have to go with April, and I'm going to put them here. And then when I'm filming this, I still have like a week left of March. And so I am going to, when I get closer to April, I'm going to pick a couple from the April section and put them in the this week section so that I know what to add to my lists and stuff whenever I start planning my first week in April. And then as I do things, they just go down here. So, here, I'll start, see, it's hard to do this holding, I'm using my phone to record this, and it's hard to do this with the phone and only one-handed, but essentially, we're just gonna put everything here, and I like to keep like all of the same color together because that's like all of the goals from a certain category, and sometimes there's things that go together, and that way I can move them at the same time if they're together on the list. I just dropped this one. And I'm not gonna have room for this last one, am I? Okay, yeah, I can go there. Who cares? It doesn't have to look perfect. So I'm gonna put the rest on, and then I'll just, you know, show you whenever I'm done, and then meet you back over for the outro. Okay, so I put all these up here, and then I moved some over to April, or for this month, and then I realized that I put that we were going to have an April book club meeting. And don't panic if you signed up for book club. There is no April meeting. I don't know. It starts in May. The first meeting is May. So I just wasn't thinking. There is no April book club meeting. And then for here, I wrote April, but it's really, I need to come up with the discussion for the May book club during April, because the book club meeting in May is at the beginning of May. So I'm actually going to put this, even though it says May, I'm going to put it in April, because I need to come up with the discussion like prompts in April. So there is no April book club. Anyway, that's what it looks like. And I mean, it doesn't look amazing and perfect, but it works for me, and that's what really matters. Like, it's not this gorgeous, like, professionally made Kanban system, but it works, and it's been working since like Q3 of 2022. I was doing it before that, but not as consistently. So it's been working. If you can hear my Minecraft music, yeah, enjoy. Okay, I'll meet you over at the table again. Okay, so those are my Q2 goals, and I hope that it was clear how I do things. I kind of have a slightly different approach, I think, to other people that use Kanban systems, but it's just something that I've kind of developed the way it makes sense for me and the way my brain works. And anyhow, I hope that it made sense to you too. If not, I mean, I'm open about it. Just leave me a comment, let me know what didn't make sense, and I'll try to explain it. But that is it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, please consider subscribing. I post functional planning videos on my channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would love to see you in the next one. Okay, bye.